Well, hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike Antile with Sailfish Solar. Today we're going to talk about a topic that's on everybody's mind. If you live in Florida and if you have a roof over your head, chances are you're already talking about insurance. But if you're also considering solar panels, the big question that's on everybody's mind is, will my insurance company cover my solar panels? And that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. We have with us today a true expert in the field. We're very grateful to be joined by Natalie Schmidt with Harris Insurance. Harris has been serving the insurance market in Florida for almost 60 years, and they have a specialty in the two specific types of insurance that are related to solar panels in Florida. So Natalie, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So before we dive into the big question, will my insurance company cover my solar panels? Tell us, if you would, for just a minute, tell us about kind of the overall state of insurance in the state of Florida. We're recording this video in June of 2022. Tell us kind of what the macro trends are and what you're seeing right now.
Well, I wish I had better news, but we are in a little bit of a crisis right now. Multiple companies have been shutting down in zip codes or leaving the state altogether. They've been losing financial stability ratings, issuing cancellations, non-renewals. And currently this month in June 2022, we're currently scrambling to replace about 60,000 Florida policyholders by the end of the month because their company lost their financial stability rating and was ordered into receivership by the Department of Insurance. So that is frustrating, but also a good thing for consumers and Florida property, owners, because the department is looking out for them. They're making sure that their companies have that financial stability rating and can respond in the event of, a mass claim like a hurricane or something like that. So it's frustrating, but it is also in the consumer's best interest, and that we are in the business of making sure that they're, insured with the best company for their property, and that they are going to do their job of responding if and when the policyholder needs them. So that's what's going on currently.
Okay, all right. A little bit of a mixed bag there, but hopefully we have some optimism that we can place in the future. Now, just to be clear, everything that you're talking about is not related to solar. Solar power is not what's causing all those cancellations so far.
No, not at all. Solar is just a whole other, criteria for certain properties whenever people decide to, look into solar or, think about adding that to their property. It's just one item to add to the checklist to make sure that when you're reviewing your insurance, making sure that that's going to be okay with whatever company you're moving forward with, but or that you're currently insured with. But it's not really a huge deal. This cancellation problem and everything that we're going in right now, there's a lot of different reasons. Florida is one of the worst in the nation for insurance fraud. We've got a lot of litigation against insurance companies. And so not only are they having to pay out on claims, they also have to pay for the legal fees, which is more expensive. They're losing money, and it's making it more expensive for everybody to be insured. But it has nothing to do with solar for the current cancellation.
Right. Okay, good. Just making sure. Yeah. All right. So the big question then that everybody's on everybody's mind, certainly in the solar world, is, will my insurance company drop me? It sounds like you answered that a little bit, but digging a little bit deeper on that one. I mean, that is the question everybody wants to know: is my insurance company going to drop me, or are my rates going to skyrocket if I put a solar panel system on my roof? What's your take on that?
Yeah. So, I mean, rates are high right now across the board, solar or no solar. If you add solar to your home, you can't expect, an increase per se right now. I mean, rates it's really no different. The most important question though is, does your current company allow solar? And it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that the insurance company tends to be a little bit behind. And so a lot of the companies have just said no to solar, and they're just sticking to it because right now we're all heads down trying to do as much as we can and help these mass cancellations and everything else. They're not necessarily looking for new business. So if they can keep that, they're not going to allow solar panels. Maybe that's going to stay for the foreseeable future. But eventually, I do think that more insurance companies will be on board with solar. I mean, it's massive. It's happening everywhere. And every single neighborhood, you can see solar panels going up. So I do think that more and more companies will get on board. But right now, there is a very healthy handful of admitted carriers in Florida that do not accept solar panels for various reasons. But so it's very important to check your with your agent and your specific policy verbiage, whether or not your current company allows solar panels.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. I mean, basically, if I'm hearing you correctly, a lot of right now there's a bigger overarching kind of problem with insurance in Florida, and people are saying, hey, we've got bigger fish to fry, and so we'll come back to you and we'll deal with solar in the future. But for right now, we're keeping our head down, like you said, and we're working on the bigger issues at hand. Now, what you also said is there is a handful of companies that definitely don't do it, but I'm also assuming there's a handful of companies that will offer it, and those are the companies that you have access to. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes, I would say right now there's probably 10 to 15 options for solar panels. And that still gives you competitive rates. I mean, if you're able to, I mean, we're an independent agency. We represent over 150 companies for all varying different lines of insurance. But for property insurance, to get, if you go to make one phone call and you get 15 different quotes and you know that they're presenting you the best rate, I would still call that pretty competitive. But you just need to make sure that they know the ins and outs of the solar, because it's very frustrating to go through the process, get established with a new company only to be issued a cancellation 90 days later after a new business because of solar. You wouldn't want to go through all the hoops for that. So the companies that do accept it, they all have their own underwriting guidelines, and there's different things that have to the stars have to align for you to qualify for all 15. Some companies will accept solar, but they want your roof to be 10 years or newer. Some companies accept solar, but they want the entire home to be constructed, after 2002, 2006, whatever that company's guidelines are. So it really is a puzzle to take each property's unique, properties specific updates, year construction, inspections, if there's a 4-point or a wind mitigation inspection. And then we look at it and we see how many companies that accept solar, how many of them can we quote and get a good viable rate with, and then we'll present the best rate to the client.
Got it. Okay, interesting. So there are some criteria, I should say, that you're looking for, and it sounds like you covered them all. I mean, are there any other criteria that you're looking for, when it comes to specific solar coverage, or I mean, it sounds like you hit a few of them.
Yeah, right now, with any property insurance, updates are huge because it's not necessarily discounts if you have a new roof or discounts if you have a new water heater. It's more of an eligibility factor for new business with companies. So that's why we really, it's tedious at first to go through all the questions but we really want to make sure that you're going to be set up for success with whatever new company we place you with, and you're not going to run into any problems. So that's why we do a lot of questioning, getting those inspections on the front end. We recommend wind mitigation inspections for every property built before 2002. And we recommend 4-point inspections for every home that's 30 years or older. Some companies are starting to require 20 years or older.
Okay, good. Interesting. So it's funny, this brings up, a topic that we've talked about on our video, and certainly to our clients in the past. We're big fans of letting kind of experts do their job. Like, in other words, in our industry, sometimes there's folks that'll come in and they'll pair solar panels with like insulation in the attic, for example. And what I like to say is, hey, I know solar, I can put in a solar system, let the insulation guy be the insulation guy. And I think to a certain extent, insurance probably falls into the same category. In other words, like I could call 1-800, give me insurance, or, insurance.com, and I might get a lot of the wrong answers. But as opposed to if I deal with Harris Insurance, if I deal with you and folks over there, you clearly have demonstrated the expertise that you know what you're looking for, in the local market, what's good, what's bad. And you have those lists. These are the people we avoid, and these are the people that we talk to. So I think that's fantastic. And I hope that if anybody's watching this video, and certainly any of our clients, that they do kind of understand the difference between 1-800 insurance and actually talking to like a local carrier who understands the local market and has actually insured projects here locally. So for that reason, we're glad that you're spending this time with us.
Absolutely. We really appreciate that and that partnership and that respect. And then two, just to kind of touch on that, because it is very interesting. We're in a very, go online, get it yourself, do it easy, quick, they're really good at pushing those phone numbers, those direct to consumer insurance, for the sales. but you don't necessarily have that person if and when you have a problem. You're just going to call and sit in queue, and maybe you know where or how to file a claim, but it's just nice to have somebody that you know that you can call. And local, like you said, I mean, we serve the entire state of Florida since 1965, so we're very familiar with Florida and the nuances of property insurance here. I mean, even whenever we call our companies, one of the first things it says is like, if you're a Florida agent, press 1. Like, it's different. It's different compared to the rest of the nation.
Right. Okay, so well, this has been really good content. So one more thing that we want to talk about, in one of our previous videos, we talk a lot about the differences in net metering and the tiers. So depending on where you're at in Florida, and about 76% of the households in Florida are eligible for a net metering system, and then with net metering, there's tier 1, which does not require an insurance policy for liability, and then there's tier 2, which does require a personal umbrella, a liability policy of $1 million. Now, I don't want to steal your thunder there, but I have talked about that in the videos in the past. But would you mind just giving us just a quick overview of the difference between the tier 2 personal liability policy and actual homeowners insurance that'll cover, the panels on your roof? Can you give us just a quick breakdown of those two?
Yeah, and that's very important. So we like to add the value of the panels to the homeowner's policy first. That is something that is an addition to your home. It's an expense that you're responsible for. Heaven forbid, if your home were to be a total loss, you're then responsible for, your home as well as whatever investment you have in the solar. So we definitely want to make sure that we include that in the homeowners first and foremost. Then in addition to that, we're also going to check on your underlying liability limits on your homeowner's policy. I would say standard is probably 300,000. Some people might have 500,000 or all the way up to $1 million already on their underlying homeowner's policy. But that is the starting point. Then from there, if they do have tier 2 and are required to have the $1 million in liability, then we can do one of two things. We can provide them an excess liability policy, which would basically bridge the gap from their underlying policy to the $1 million. So if they had the standard 300,000, we could provide them an excess liability policy. It would cover just their property because it's just premises liability, but it could be for 700,000, and it would get them to the $1 million. That would satisfy the requirements. Or honestly, a little bit of a better way to do it or get more bang for your buck would be to finally invest in a personal umbrella policy. And so that would take your underlying home limits, liability limits, your underlying auto liability limits, maybe if you have a boat or anything like that. And then once those policies have the minimum liability requirements, then you could, depending on where you're at currently, if you needed to make any increases or you might already have those limits, then you would be eligible for a personal umbrella policy, usually at $1 million or higher. And then that would provide you personal liability for more than just your property. If you were maybe in a bad auto accident and got sued, or any other tragic accident, you would have that liability go with you for more than just your property.
Okay, that's a good point. And I must admit, in all the time I've been talking about insurance, and it's been quite a while, it actually didn't occur to me that there's other benefits than just checking the box for FP&L. You can actually use this policy and have this policy for other parts of your life.
Absolutely. And that's what we did personally when we got solar. My husband and I talked about it, and we were like, you know what, we've been meaning to do this for a long time anyways. Sure, we could pay a few $100s for the, excess liability for the property, but we need it in all these other areas too. So let's just go ahead, be grown up and get that personal umbrella policy. And then once you have it set up, it's set up. You just renew it every year. It's easy.
Awesome. All right. So last question, I guess, if somebody wants to review, tell us just the basics. I know that we are going to have on our website, selfishsolar.com, and then certainly anywhere where this video is posted, we're going to have some links to be able to go to Harris Insurance. But if somebody wants to just get a basic understanding, what's this going to cost me and so on? What are the next steps? What are the best steps for them to go through to kind of find out whether or not this makes sense for them?
Absolutely. So we have a page on our website as well. It's harrisinsurance.com/solar. It has a little FAQ section on there. It has a very brief kind of contact us form that you can fill out. You can also send in your current declaration page for evaluation. because that's really the first step with everything, is to start with your current homeowners and see what you got, see what you qualify for, see what you're looking to do. If you're looking to, after a consultation, if they know they're going to need that tier 2 or not. But really just fill out that form on our website. And then one of our licensed agents will reach out, and we can, if you can stay with your current homeowners policy, I mean, that's great. Your current homeowners carrier accepts solar, you're one step ahead. So but that is the first step, to evaluate that and make sure that those limits are where they need to be. Increase the value of the solar onto the homeowners policy, and we can help you with all that. It's very easy, but you can also call us. Phone traffic is a little bit high right now with all the cancellations. So the website would probably be the fastest and the easiest way to get the process started.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Well, look, Natalie, thank you so much for being here today. We do have a link, like I said, to Harris Insurance on our website. I know I can speak from experience that you've already spoken to a bunch of our clients and been able to help folks out, so we're very grateful for that. To the folks who are watching this video, we hope this video was helpful. If you like this video, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing to us. We have lots of great content coming in the future on this topic and many others that are kind of relevant to people here in Florida. So with that, we'll stop. Natalie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, awesome. Everybody, thanks a lot. Have a good day, and we'll see you soon. Like and subscribe.